Okay, so here we go. What is all this stuff? Look it, I got another mini mister. Oh, do you see that, Tim Holtz? I got another mini mister. A bunch of cardstock, green, brown, yellow, cream, and I got orange. So I got that, these papers, some stamps, mini mister, an ink blending pad, an egg stencil, a palette knife, a vellum envelope, diabetes stick, and some Nouveau embellishing mousse. And you can see here I started out the kit by using my brand new Misty, which I had never ever used in my whole entire life. I'm making sure that I stamp the cards to make sure that I can color them. And I'm like smacking down the stamps like I mean some dang business. And then I'm stamping with my Versamark ink and putting some detailed black embossing powder on there and then heating it up to emboss the Hey Chickie stamp for my card. Yeah, I'm pulling through my brand new Spectrum Noir Illustrator Alcaharo markers, and I never really truly used those before, so I'm kind of matching the colors up and experimenting. I am not a colorist by any means, so I'm just having a good time with my markers. Now I moved on to stamping the front of the card with a little chick, using my Misty, arranging the stamps on the card first and then picking up the stamps so that I'm able to put them back in the same place again. And I loaded that up with some Ranger archival ink. No, it wasn't. It was the Versamark so that I can emboss it. Now mind you, I did it without anti-static powder. I highly recommend that you invest in anti-static powder bags so that you do not get the mess that I had with this card. I'm arranging it in my cutter to make sure that it's the right size, and I pulled out a piece of fabric lace trim to see if I liked that, but no, I didn't like it. Then I pulled out a piece of paper thinking, oh, I'll just put it on the back of a white piece of paper. Oh, and I got these Nouveau embellishment mousses. Maybe I'll use something like that. And then put it inside the card, on the outside of the card. Nothing seemed to really jive with what I wanted to do. So I decided, okay, well, forget about this. I'm gonna use the stencil that came with the kit, and I'm gonna use the Nouveau embellishing mousse in the silver to kind of check out the stencil. Well, it took a while to realize that I should probably tape down the stencil before I start. And I wanted to use this white piece of paper, but then all of a sudden I got the mousse all over it, and I used a baby wipe to try and wipe it off. Well, that didn't work, so then got it all over me, all over my stuff, and I'm like, well, now I can't use the page anymore because it's all ruined. So I decided, okay, well, I'll cover it up. Well, that didn't look right because it's plaid with like shiny silver flowers. Yeah, I just didn't think this through. And this was the very first card that I've ever done, because this is the very first kit I've ever gotten from Simon Says Stamp, which I loved, by the way. And I decided to cut out this egg and use it somewhere else, but as you can see, I'm totally perplexed on what I'm supposed to do with it. So I start putting it on the card and thinking, oh, well, I'll just put it in the corner and it'll look amazing. Like all the crafter ladies, they make their cards and they just put it on there and they pop it on there, and all of a sudden it's beautiful and amazing, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're so good at this. But this is what real life is. People don't know what the hell to do. So I decided to take out my crocodile and I cut out I punched out some holes and I put some brads in the card. And this is the very first time I'm ever using this too, because I'm brand new to crafting and I'm trying out the new things. And this paper craft thing is amazing, but it's very, very hard. And these people are very skilled. And as you can see up in the upper right-hand corner, that brad is just totally destroyed. And I had to go back and pull it out because it was janky, and I didn't want that on my card because then you will definitely be able to tell it's my very first card ever. Not my very first card ever, but it's my very first Simon Says stamp card kit. So I pulled out that brad and I redid it and I took off my tape and realized, well, now the paper's on a little crooked, but that's all right. Decided to bring back in the egg and think, well, now maybe I can do a little peekaboo or something like that. Well, no, I couldn't because it was dumb. And now I've got this plaid Hey Chickie that really is too much plaid. But then I'm like, well, I'll just cut it and it'll be all right. Well, it was, but it needed something else to kind of offset all that plaid with the, it just needed something to stand apart. So I taped that to the white cardstock and decided to put it on the lower left-hand corner of the card. And by this time, I'm just so tired. Seriously, I bet I'm like 3.5 hours into making this card at this point, because most of the time I just stared trying to figure out what the hell to do. And maybe this is what like writer's block is. Maybe it's crafter block, because I just couldn't figure out how to get started since I'm not very seasoned at this. But I put a bit of foam tape on the back of the little Hey Chickie, and I put that on the card and I started cutting out the little eggs that I had colored earlier. And also on the Hey Chickie, I did make a little banner on that. And I'm using some pearlized and liquid pearls right now, and I just love those liquid pearls, don't you? They're just so cute, and they have like the perfect little round dots, and they dry really quickly. So I was pretty surprised on how quickly they dry, but I love them. And I did pull out a couple other pieces of paper that I had die cut with some Sizzix dies earlier in the month, and I wanted to use those up, and I thought those paper stacks would work pretty well. I thought I had a plan at this point, so I'm like starting to tape down my eggs. But you'll see here in a second, as soon as I get all the eggs up there, I'm like, no, let's change it. Of course, let's change it. So I brought in some other paper stock and decided to put the eggs together in that arrangement, and I finally hit it. I think I got it, folks. It is now complete. Hey Chickie, my very first card created with my very first Simon Says stamp card kit. Like this video, give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and check out what I'm up to. Love you guts. Bye!